Seer Travis speaking, and this is my Truth TV episode 7. And in this episode I will be talking about what I deserve personally and what criminals deserve and the nature of crimes. Now, firstly, society has got absolutely no legitimate right whatsoever to judge or inflict any form of discomfort, let alone punishment, on any of its tortured victim creations that it labels criminals. Now, briefly, society commits all the crime actions itself, and then it just gives them a different label as if that somehow magically changes them into something else. For example, we have war, abortion, assassinations, the death penalty. Now these are all murders by society, not by the individual soldier or so on, but by society. And then we have societies like America who will demand oil and payments from societies like Iraq under the terroristic threat of destruction of buildings and the mass murder of its citizen slaves if it doesn't comply. So the basic point is society commits all the crime actions itself on a much greater scale, and that it creates the criminal, which you would know if you have read my lectures on child abuse and the creation of criminals and the causes of crime. Now, there is absolutely no rational reason or legitimate purpose for punishing criminals. Now, in extreme cases, such as if someone was murdering somebody, okay, that person might have to be removed for the safety of society, but that does not in itself mean that he has to be punished. Okay? Now, I propose of what I deserve, and what criminals would deserve, is the truth is what I would call a benevolent detention system. Now, in this system, the goal is to recognize the victimhood status of all individual criminals, compensate them, apologize to them, and give them the necessary things that they need in order to try and make amends with them as best as possible. Now, that applies to all criminals. For example, let us take this man here, okay? He is criminal Peter Dupas. Okay, he deserves the best. And the rule is that the more somebody's an evil, demonized criminal, the more they deserve. Okay, the more goodness they deserve. Okay, now one of the aspects is bedding. Now, criminals currently are given cold, uncomfortable beds with shoddy mattresses. They're not really mattresses at all, they're foam mats. And I've slept in many prisons, so I know the conditions. Now, these foam mats often, not only do they often cause joint damage among the bigger prisoners, but they also promote poor sleeping patterns and bad rest. Now, this has been scientifically proven to increase stress levels, okay? And also, of course, being tired and irritable makes it far more likely that crimes are going to be committed in the future, both in prison and once the person is let out of prison. They're going to commit much more of these violence. So it just doesn't make any sense to antagonize them that way. Now, another factor is the food. The food should be of the absolute highest quality, because scientific studies again have shown that diets rich in protein, carbohydrates, okay, dietary fibre, vitamins and minerals, good balanced healthy diets improve brain function, okay, and also can reduce stress and increase the health of the criminal. And this, in turn, would be another factor in many cases. Now, we have a case here, okay, Arthur Shawcross. It is known that nutritional deficiencies have contributed to the actions of Mr. Shawcross, and since he has been incarcerated, a better diet has been one of the factors that have helped Mr. Shawcross achieve better health and mental functionality. And that isn't to say that he doesn't still retain the right to commit the crimes, or he does. But if society wants to stop violence and the crime actions, it should consider what its actions will do by so-called punishing criminals. All it's ever done is make them more violent, okay, and more abusive. Okay. Now, the benevolent detention system, the prisoner should have every right to decide how much socialization and if he has any contact at all with other prisoners. He should not be kept in a cage or a cell, but in more of a unit or a house-like environment. Okay, like in some of these prison country camps. These prisoners, okay, they should have access to any facility necessary to ensure both their safety, the safety of others, and their personal enjoyment, because society owes them compensation because it made them criminals, it is responsible for their crimes, and it's ruined their lives and abused them as children to make them criminals. So society owes them. Okay? Now, I'd like to move on to the topic of what I personally observe. Now, I deserve the absolute best of everything because I am a seer of forbidden truths. I deserve the best, and that's just a fact. That's a fact. Okay? Now, if you citizen slaves here in my country of Australia were sane, rational, and sensible, if you value truth, you would install me as the president overlord of your lie-based society and beg me to run it properly based on the truth. Okay? If this was the case, crime would be virtually eliminated within 50 years. Okay? And most sociological problems would be either highly reduced or will be virtually eliminated, because I'd run the country properly based on the truth. You know, these are just facts. And of course, these will be ridiculed. People say, "Oh, ho, 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 what a load of rubbish." Okay, that's what they do. Society instructs them just to mock and ridicule their seer, who reveals the forbidden truth, not engage in proper philosophical debate. Of course, likewise, if I'm jailed on any criminal charges, I again deserve the best treatment possible. But your society doesn't want to do this. It has basically tried to make things as difficult as possible for me because I have been identified as a seer of truth and a so-called troublemaker. Okay? Now, that just shows you the evil perversity of your societies. That's all it does. There's no reason to lock up criminals, folks, and subject them to brutalization, trauma, stress, bad food, bad sleep, and abuse, and all these other things. All it's ever done is make bad matters worse. You can find more information on today's topic at my website at www.truthmedia.8k.com. Thank you for watching. This has been episode 7 of Seer Travis Truth TV.